Do you believe in miracles? I get asked this a lot, often by religious people suspicious of me as a Unitarian Universalist, and sometimes by non-religious people who are suspicious of religion and therefore suspicious of me. My answer now is simple. Yes, I believe in the miracle of life. I believe in the miracle of love. And I believe in the miracle of the transformation of human hearts and human community. But when I was younger, my answer was more cautious. I'd respond, it depends. What you mean by miracle? Do you mean like the virgin birth or the Red Sea being divided? Or do you mean something like the sound system working on the first try? Now, I've got to say, here at UUSG, it's amazing to me how well the AV system works compared to other congregations. And for me, this is a kind of miracle, a human miracle. And yes, I believe in miracles that we humans can make possible. Now, for many people, miracles mean divine intervention, God stepping in to fix history, stop violence, or reward the righteous. And that's where I struggle with certain versions of the Hanukkah story. I love the lighting of candles, and it's fun to tell the story of of the oil that miraculously lasted 8 days. But the fuller story of Hanukkah, that fuller story is far more complicated. It's a story of rebellion, violence, and political power. The Maccabees overthrew an oppressive regime, only for the new order to become corrupt itself. It is not a clean story of heroes and villains. It's a story that refuses simplicity. And I appreciate how David Brooks calls Hanukkah the most adult of holidays. It tells the truth about history, that good guys sometimes do bad things, and that bad guys sometimes do good things. And everyone is trapped in conflicts without easy answers. And still, candles are lit. If we look at Hanukkah with our eyes wide open, this insistence on lighting candles is not a denial of reality, but a moral act. Today's story, for all ages, the Christmas menorahs, is what happened in Billings, Montana in 1993, after actually a brick was thrown through a Jewish family's window, and the community responding by placing menorahs in their own windows, thousands and thousands of them. As a children's story, the Christmas menorahs is about kindness and courage. But as adults, we should hear it as something more. The Christmas menorahs is a story about covenant. James Luther Adams was a 20th century theologian. His life spanned most of the 20th century. And he talks a lot about covenant. He reminds us that the decisive resistance to authoritarianism did not begin in politics, but in religious communities shaped by covenant. Communities that understood faith not as private belief, but as shared responsibility. Covenant ushers us into obligations. It asks us, how will we live together? How will we protect one another? And what does justice require of us? The people of Billings did not say, "We support you." They said, "What happens to you happens to us." So we respond together. That is covenantal faith. It insists that what we do matters at least as much as what we believe. It treats history itself as a moral event. And this is why Lynn Unger's poem Hanukkah reads almost like a poetic midrash on Adam's theology. The poem begins not with triumph, but with a command. Come down from the hills. This is a call away from hiding, away from fortified certainty, away from the illusion that safety can be found in isolation. Adams warned that authoritarianism thrives when people retreat into fear and disengagement. Covenant, by contrast, calls people back into history. Unger continues, declare the fighting done. Be bold, declare victory, even when the temple is wrecked and the tyrants have not retreated. This is not naivete. It is covenantal courage. The courage to act without guarantees, to live as moral agents even when outcomes remain uncertain. Adams insisted that covenant does not wait for perfect conditions. It responds to history as it is. And then the poem shifts. Try to remember a life gentled by daily acts of domestic faith, the pot set to boil, the bed made up, the table set. Here, covenant becomes concrete, not heroic sacrifice, not martyrdom, but daily relational faithfulness. Justice lived at a human scale. And Adams believed that covenant grounds religious pragmatism, that it anchors belief in action, in the ordinary work of sustaining life together. And Unger's poem presses further. Unlearn the years of hiding. Set lamps in the window. Declare your presence, your loyalties. Be loud and proud about your values. This is the same moral movement we see in Christmas menorahs. Lamps in windows are not symbols of innocence. They're acts of public responsibility. They say, we will not let fear decide how we will live. And then the poem reaches its theological center. It would take a miracle, you say. I say, you are the stuff from which such miracles are made. This is covenant in its clearest form. When divine rescue does not arrive, responsibility does. When God seems silent, history still speaks through what human beings choose to do next. For me, one of the most powerful Hanukkah stories comes from 1938. In a small Brooklyn apartment, Chaim Potok watched his father light the menorah shortly after Kristallnacht. The flame seemed pitiful against the darkness. Sensing his son's doubt, his father said, "You want another miracle? So do I. But if it does not come, we will make a human miracle. We will not let the world extinguish our souls." That is covenant. I imagine young people today, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, watching the lights of their traditions and wondering whether miracles are real at all. I imagine them asking whether the age of miracles has passed. If by miracles we mean supernatural intervention, then yes. But if by miracles we mean people choosing courage over fear, solidarity over silence, then no, the age of miracles is not over. Our hymn tells the truth plainly. Let's raise our voices now as one. We know what's good and just. Sing out the truth of freedom. Our silence will not protect us. Covenantal faith never promises safety. It promises responsibility. It teaches that ultimate reality and human existence meet in history, especially at moments of threat, injustice, and moral testing. Prayer still matters, not as a way to ask God to do our work for us, but as a way to shape our hearts for the work that is ours to do. These are the miracles I believe in. And I believe these are the miracles that Hanukkah calls forth. The light we wait for is already placed in human hands. And you are the stuff from which such miracles are made. Blessed be. Amen.
Visit us at UUSG.org.